Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here. It's Friday morning, and we're playing our second NBA Cup game today. I'm previewing Detroit Pistons at Toronto Raptors at Scotiabank Arena. The first game back after a five-game West Coast road trip, and they had 2 days off. The Raptors having a practice yesterday, and a lot of the guys return. The media was kind of crappy yesterday at the practice interview, but the players have returned. One of the first questions Darko got was, how was your meeting with Alex, meaning Dr. Alex, our sports science doctor? And Darko said very harshly back towards the really jerky press corps yesterday. Well, you can see there's a lot of players here practicing right now, and pretty much everybody was practicing yesterday, if not with contact. Scotty out there putting shots up. Uh, Kelly Olynyk working out, Bruce Brown working out, Jacoby Walter out there, and Emmanuel Quickly working without his left hand. He's on the restriction that he can only shoot with his right. He also said that Jacoby's going to get checked with the doctor again on Tuesday, and all the rest of the guys will get checked next Thursday, and there'll be a more clear picture on the timetable for the returns of Kelly Olynyk, Scotty Barnes, and Bruce Brown. So yeah, that's some good news to hear. Scotty was out there sporting a mask, looking very Batman-ish, and it was kind of cool. So I would think Scotty's anxious to get back out there, seeing that we're playing his buddy Cade Cunningham and the Pistons tonight. In some ways, he wishes he could be in the lineup to help us against Cade. Cade has been absolutely on fire for the Pistons, and the Pistons are 5-8 to start the season. So this is not the normal Raptors Pistons match where in some ways we're the we're the ones who are favored. This is going to be an interesting fight tonight in some ways, battle, because to be honest, we need a win badly, and this is one that could be very winnable. We just need to do things exactly right. All right, let's go and look at the injuries first. The latest lineup news. Of course, I just went over some of them. DJ Carton has been hurt for the 905 on the G League level. He's listed on our injury list. So he's been out. It's an ankle injury, but he's day to day technically. Jacoby Walter will be reassessed on Tuesday for his shoulder, but he is out today. Emmanuel Quickly is out for today's game also. He has got a partial tear to his ulnar collateral ligament in his left elbow, and he'll be assessed next Thursday. So he'll be reevaluated. Scotty Barnes is already ruled out also for his orbital fracture. He will not require surgery, which is good news. And wearing the mask and getting back in practice is a good sign also. Bruce Brown ruled out with his knee injury, and Kelly Olynyk ruled out with his back injury. But we're hopefully going to get updates on them next week, which will be good news. Detroit does have injuries themselves. They've got this is their injury list for today. Jaden Ivey is questionable for tonight. It is his toe. He may not be questionable, as it's not for sure, but it's pretty not as good. Let's see. Tim Hardaway Jr. is listed as doubtful. He took a head injury, so he is doubtful for tonight. So not likely to see Tim Hardaway Jr. Simone Fontecchio is also doubtful. He has a toe injury. Sir Thompson has been cleared by the fitness to play panel because of his blood clot issue, but he is still ramping up his conditioning to return to the Pistons full time, and he is not going to be available tonight because he is not ramped up yet to be able to come back and help them. And Bobby Clintman, their rookie, their pick from last year's draft, is progressing in his recovery, but still has no timetable to return. So he's out also. So looking at the Pistons, their lineup is probably going to be Cade Cunningham, Malik Beasley, Ronald Holland II, Tobias Harris, and Jalen Duren. The other players that are on the team are Beef Stew, of course, Isaiah Stewart, Marcus Sasser, Paul Reed, Wendell Moore Jr., Cole Swider, and that's mostly their core right there. The guys who are out also, of course. Now, the two former Sixers on the Pistons, they matter. I would say this right now. We've dissed Tobias Harris a lot in the last couple years because of his contract. And, but honestly, in some ways, Tobias Harris is a glue guy, a guy that did so many different things for his teams that in some ways we're seeing the Sixers missing Tobias Harris right now with their record, and the Pistons gaining things in wins because Tobias Harris is on their team. So say what you will about Tobias Harris and his contract. Maybe he is a little overpaid, but he does add up to helping to win in games. And they're missing him in Philly, and Detroit is getting the spoils of him at this point. Of course, they have a new coach in Detroit named JB Bickerstaff. He is switched from Cleveland to the team in Detroit in replacement of Monty Williams, who left after 1 year of coaching the dismal, sad state of the Detroit Pistons. On the Toronto side, I will guess that our starting lineup will be very much similar to what has been coming out for us lately. Davion Mitchell, Grady Dick, Ochai Agbaji, RJ Barrett, and Jakob Poeltl for that. All right, let's go to the refs. Referee report for today, very important. Man, this crew chief is problematic, but who could actually very well be helpful to us tonight, honestly. We have the home court advantage tonight, so hopefully these guys keep that in mind and what they're trying to do. Of course, the Pistons won their first NBA Cup game earlier this week, so they are 1-0, and we are 0-1. It may want to counterbalance and even things out in some ways. Maybe in some ways as an indirect way to help out Giannis and the Bucks to get further in the NBA Cup, to get to Vegas. That I could see a ref hit job happening in our favor tonight, guys. I'm serious. Because first of all, we're going to be wearing those fancy City Edition jerseys with the Vince Carter Raptor dunk logo on it, and we're going to have the home crowd. We're going to have our floor. In some ways, the NBA is worried about us losing like fans and people interest because we're losing way too much. And sometimes if you lose so much, they may actually start trying to help you just get a couple of wins because they feel so bad for you. And I'm just going to say right now, our crew chief is Scott Foster. Scott Foster is the crew chief for tonight's game, number 48 in his 31st season out of Silver Springs, Maryland. His favorite TV show is Ted Lasso. He likes to watch Braveheart. His favorite band is Michael Franti and Spearhead. His favorite book is Golf is Not a Game of Perfect. His favorite meal is that Maryland blue crab with corn on the cob. He likes the app PGA Golf Tournament Live. Most like to visit Italy. His hidden talent is body surfing, and his bucket list is to win the U.S. Open Pickleball Championships. Yeah, Scott Foster. Scott Foster. That's right. A dubious ref, the guy that we've all wondered about. But listen, I'm going to tell you, in this situation tonight, and this is from the couple of years I've been doing this ref report and paying real close attention to the refs, I think he's actually going to be helping the Raptors tonight, guys. Seriously. I'm serious. So pay close attention to Scott Foster tonight. He may try and push the Pistons down and actually give us a break and help us in some very key moments tonight. Watch for this. Seriously, I'm telling you. Scott Foster considers his most memorable NBA assignment to be the Game 7 of the 2010 NBA Finals between the Lakers and the Celtics. He refereed the game with two of his mentors, Dan Crawford and Joey Crawford. Yeah, the Crawfords, apparently. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Scott's splits are as so. This is it right here. We have a 45% win percentage with Scott Foster, which is not good. And the Pistons have a 47% win percentage. So technically he favors the Pistons. And it's kind of crazy that in his 31 years of refereeing, the Pistons have a higher win percentage than the Raptors. I mean, there were some bad years for the Raptors in the 30 years of the Raptors, sure. But the Pistons, haven't they had just as many bad years? I mean, I guess we could look at their championship with Ben Wallace and them. But yeah, to me, that's kind of funny when it's 45-47 for the Pistons. Scott Foster, crew chief. The second ref is Jason Goebel out of Miami, ninth season, number 68. His favorite TV show is Power. He likes the movie The Godfather. He listens to Mark Antony. His favorite book is Pirates in Blue. He'll eat some veal parmigiana. His favorite app is Netflix. He'd most like to visit Tahiti. And his bucket list is to roll his own cigar in Cuba. Well, bro, if you're a Canadian, you could go down there and do that already. But unfortunately, you're American. And you even live in Miami. You're so close. It's so far away, Jason Goebel, from rolling your own cigar in Cuba. Of course, Jason Goebel's brother, John, is in his 18th season as an NBA staff official. So this is the younger Goebel brother that is refereeing us. And he's the one who used to be Miami-Dade Police Department officer for 13 years. Before he became a ref. So he traded one uniform for another. Jason Goebel, let me see real quick with the splits, is the most favorable ref to the Raptors today. We win 54% of our games with Jason present. And meanwhile, the Pistons only win 25% of their games. So that's a huge split difference, 52 to 25 for the Raptors with the second ref, Jason Goebel, former Miami-Dade police officer. This third ref is a rookie ref who's not been around for very long, Tyler Ricks, number 95 out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. He is into The Office, his favorite TV show. He likes the movie Wedding Crashers. His favorite musician is Lily Rose. His favorite book is any James Patterson book. He likes to eat seafood. His favorite app is ESPN. He most likes to visit Japan. And his bucket list is to take a cooking class in Italy with his wife. So I'm seeing the connection here. The referee connection today is Italy because, Scott Foster wants to go to Italy, and this guy wants to take a cooking class in Italy, and Jason Goebel likes veal parmigiana. So, hey, it's Italy. The secret word is Italy. So if you go to the game tonight, yell Italy at these guys. Or say, I want some good Italian food here or something like that. I don't know. Tyler Ricks has officiated 9 seasons in the NBA G League, where he has refereed playoff games 6 years and the finals games 2 years. So, yeah, this is a rookie ref. He only has 2 games with the Raptors so far, and the Pistons also 2 games, and both records are 0-2. So we've had Tyler Ricks as a ref twice. We've lost both those games, and same can be said for the Pistons. So 0-0 is the split with Tyler Ricks, the third referee, a rookie ref. So there you go. There's your crew. Scott Foster, Jason Goebel, and Tyler Ricks. And as I said, I fully expect Scott Foster to hold the status quo, and that's favoring the home team. And in some ways, if I see him going against us, then I know the league is really against us. Because what's y'all's excuse? We can go on this road trip and see home cooking in some of the games recently, and you'll say, oh, well, it's the home team, the home advantage. Well, we got that tonight, Scott Foster. So remember that, please, when things are a little close with 50-50 calls. That's right. That's what I want to know. Of course, tonight, the Raptors are going to be playing in their new City Edition jerseys, and this jersey is overwhelmingly popular around the whole entire NBA. People love the Raptor logo jersey with Vince Carter dunk movement on it. They unanimously almost voted that the Raptors City Edition jersey this year is the best one. I've just seen everywhere I see it, they're number one, and we are getting respect for our graphic design and our innovation as a franchise for the cool things we're doing. And the Vince Carter stuff has absolutely been going over top notch with a general NBA fan all around the league, which is very, very cool. In fact, they had an event last night at the Art Gallery of Ontario where they unveiled a statue of the Raptor doing the Vince Carter dunk. It's a very cool statue. I wonder where it's going to permanently end up. I'll bet you it'll end up somewhere inside the building, if not right outside the building somewhere. It depends on how weather tested that statue is. Sometimes those statues aren't actually real statues. They're kind of like a hollow, and they have a little bit in there and just made for show. But who knows? Maybe that statue is a legit heavy statue, and they can be weather tested for a Canadian winter outside in Jurassic Park. We'll have to see where that statue ends up. It's definitely no Dwayne Wade statue. How about that? All right, let's get into the chat and see what y'all are saying this morning. We got all the regular segments on the show as we usually do. So let's go to it. I got a lot to say today. So let's keep going. All right, here we go. First comment is Kareem Thomas. Good morning to you, Kareem. Always good to see the funny man, Kareem Thomas, in the chat. I watched both parts of the Open Gym Vince Carter Legacy series. Yeah, they came out with the second one yesterday. This is top notch. This is an hour of Open Gym content that is just top notch, 10 out of 10 produced. You know, I didn't really do my full review of the Open Gym episode. The first one yesterday, I kind of glossed over it and said it's just really fantastic. I got to give them a lot of credit. They're such master storytellers, and they really do give you the insight and the feel and the emotions and the behind the scenes of it all. And it's really cool that they followed Vince around during his his events that have been coming around recently with his Hall of Fame induction, the Dixon Court dedication, the Jersey night in our arena, the palling around with his former teammates and a little dinner with Larry Tenenbaum and Keith Pelly. You know, getting that insider access behind the scenes and seeing Vince getting ready for this stuff with his children is top notch. And the way they intersperse the present day with the stuff, and there's like he's talking to Tracy McGrady, and they have a mannerism that they do when they're talking to each other, and boom, all of a sudden they show an old clip of Tracy and Vince on the Raptors a long time ago. And that same kind of thing. AD comes in and he hugs Vince. They show AD hugging Vince on the Raptors court 20 years ago. It's a really, really cool episodes where they intersperse the past and the present. And I love that. And the interviews, once again, top notch. You can't get enough Charles Oakley, Corey Joseph, and those kind of people coming out and speaking on Vince Carter and what his phenomena is. So just top notch, man. You guys did perfect. You did it perfect. You really got a little bit of everybody that was there as far as D Brown, Kevin Willis, Charles Oakley, Morris Peterson, really, really top notch. And, I know that Vince is proud of these episodes. In some ways, the work of the Open Gym producers to make this happen, it allows Vince Carter to understand this is a really, really good franchise and that you should be proud and want to be repping us and worldwide and not just switching on the border. You really do need to understand, Vince, that, this is the stuff you get when you're good with us. And you know what? You want to keep that embrace going for forever from now on? Well, you can, bro. You just got to respect our franchise and do things in a representative way of what we're all about. You haven't done that for 20 years between 2004 and now, but now you're doing it. And I'm glad because it's much better, healthy for everybody, healthier for you, healthier for us, the old Raptors fans that still remember what happened at the end of your career with the Raptors. So, man, what great episodes. And Vince has got to be blown away with the top-notch quality and cinematography of it all and how much it's captured. Everything that's captured on it. It's so, so, so good. So good. So, so good. Man, it's so good. Yeah, let's see. Kareem saying, I watched both parts of the Open Gym, and all I wanted was Vince to say sorry or at least acknowledge our bitterness. Anyways, I teared up a bit. I'm no bitch. I just have a soft spot for happy endings. Yeah, listen, there's a lot of it that's in the middle of it that's interladen with it. And in some ways, look, I think that Vince is just going to die standing on that hill, that it wasn't his fault what happened here in Toronto. And that's why he says that he has no apologies to be made. There is a lot more that's come to light that's made it seem like Rob Babcock was absolutely the person that was at fault in this whole thing. And it's in some ways, I still don't like how Vince behaved as far as quitting on the team and saying, I'm not going to jump, and being so publicly open about disrespecting the Raptors around the end of his time with us, just for his own personal selfish reasons. And that's the stuff I have problem with. I mean, the trade was stupid, and Rob Babcock should absolutely be blamed for that horrible trade. And him still pulling trigger, even when Vince said, I don't want to go. He said, well, it's already done and I'm lazy. I don't want to rescind it. That in some ways, that totally is Rob Babcock's fault. But some of the stuff will never change, that Vince had a scoring jump once he went to New Jersey. And also that he very publicly admitted that he wasn't trying for us. And in some ways, that's much worse than just doing it silently. And, when you have the audacity to actually come out and say, yeah, I didn't try for this team and I don't respect this team in some ways is what you're saying. And then why would anybody else respect the team after that? That's what I was trying to tell you, Vince, is that you were the front and center, most important person in the Raptors world for what you did and putting us on the map, which is undeniable. But when you turned your back and you basically said that I don't respect this team to the point where I didn't try, and I don't care if anybody knows about it, I'm just going to say it. That really poured on gasoline to the disrespect for the Raptors franchise around the NBA and honestly, around North America for a long time. The people up in Canada even were disrespecting our team because you showed disrespect to it. So that's what my issue has been this whole time, Vince, is that I'm a Raptors fan. I'm proud of being a Raptors fan. I want to get respect for our franchise, and that's something I've clawed to get for over 30 years in my own ways that I can, whether it's on social media, being an influence in the arena to get people to cheer more, whatever I've done to try and help this team get more bona fide. And when one of the most essential, most important Raptors in the history of our team, shat all over it like that, that's the problem right there. He may never apologize for that part, because in some ways he says a means to an end. As far as he did need to leave, or he did leave, and it just happened the way it is, and so be it. We can't go back and change it. I get it. I can put it all laid to rest too. In some ways, this is why I say I won't forgive Nick Nurse until he retires as a coach, because when you're actively playing and you're actively in op and you're actively coming through our town and seeing us, you know, that is still competitive. That's still a battle. That's still, you're against us and you used to be with us, so it wasn't until he was going to retire I knew I could maybe start to heal after that. And well, we're doing a good job. The Raptors MLSE have done a very exceptional job honoring Vince in a top quality way. He's blown away by it. In some ways he's embracing his roots that were lost with the Toronto Raptors franchise, and it is a very healing kind of thing. It is a very healing kind of thing. And if there's one thing about Vince, is that he's pure emotion. He's pure emotion, whether it is jubilation and joy, or whether it is the hurt and the pain that he felt from us booing him like crazy. Let's not get it twisted. Raptors fans really did hurt him mentally in some ways because of the way we turned on him after he turned on us. And in some ways, part of the outpouring of emotion and how emotional he's been is because this is healing him. This is healing him. Of course, they have the segment where Vince's mom, Michelle, comes out and says, everybody was always asking why he's always smiling. And well, it's because he realizes he's blessed and he's happy. No, this was a criticism of Vince when he played for us because he smiled after we lose. And that's why we used to say this, Michelle, is because, we thought he was indifferent to whether he won or lost because he would be smiling after we'd lose games and he'd be like palling around with the other team after the game, high-fiving them. Once again, I kind of long for the old NBA where Magic and Bird hated each other. And Vince Carter was very symbolic of making it more of a fraternity of all the players on all the teams are all buddies. And we're actually all friends more than we actually enemies and competitors against each other. That's why I don't like it, Michelle. He can feel like he's all blessed and stuff like that with smiles and stuff. But it also shows that he's not taking winning seriously as far as I'm concerned. There's a reason why Spoelstra and the Miami Heat wouldn't let LeBron James and Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade pal around with Carmelo Anthony before games that shoot around, because there's an edge to that kind of competitiveness like Michael Jordan had. And that's the difference right there. Sure, you can be all smiley, but you know what? Raptors fans, when they lose and they see their number one star on the bench smiling after the game, being all happy, that's annoying as fuck. Let's just put it that way. And in some ways, it tells you what you need to know between the difference between Carter and Jordan as far as competitiveness and being all nice and friendly with everybody. So, yeah, they were great episodes. The kudos to the Open Gym staff for how they do what they do. The absolute amazing top-level storytelling. And wow. And it's such a joy to see our old Raptors legends interacting with Vince in that second part episode that came out yesterday. Such a joy. Morris, I love Morris Pearson so much, man. Morris is so cool with his dreads, and seeing him in the old highlights with Vince and thinking back to the old number 24, running with him and doing all the stuff it was with him. That was awesome, man. I love you, Morris. If you're out there and you hear me, man, I want to tell Morris Pearson, I love you, my guy. You're awesome, dude. You were always going to be real with me and good. And Vince, dubious for a long, long time, but he's getting better right now. That's right. Kareem saying Open Gym, phenomenal comeback from such a lackluster performance last season. Yeah, for sure. Very excited to see the European connect to navigate players to cross the border. Jose and Primo. Yeah, they did a coming attractions for the next Open Gym episode, and it's going to center around Jose Calderon and Andrea Bargnani, which I think is awesome. Thinking about Italy, Scott Foster and the ref crew. That's right. I mean, in some ways, we haven't really talked about Andrea much in the years since he left our team to go get traded to the New York Knicks. And in some ways, he is an important part of our history in our 30 years. And I'm glad that the Open Gym is going to do a treatment on him and Jose. It's maybe very good and educational for newer fans that think Andrea Bargnani is something that he isn't. And Jose is just top notch, awesome. And I love that they're addressing the whole thing after Vince left, how American players would want to play in Canada. And they want to go head to head with it and talk about it, the whole issue on the Open Gym episode that's going to come out next. Man, they really did a lot of pre-work on this season. There's a lot of stuff that was shot a long time before this, and they're just editing them all together to get them ready on this. So the newer footage of Vince events and a lot of interviews that they've been collecting over the last 6 months. So, man, good stuff by Open Gym, top notch. And wow, you blew me away. And the funny thing is that this whole episode does not really center around Chris Bosh. It centers around Jose Calderon and Andrea Bargnani. So that says a lot right there. That says a lot right there. Wow, Kareem, thanks for bringing up Open Gym. And definitely, y'all, check it out. The 2 episodes on the Vince Carter legacy are just top notch. Oh my gosh, 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. That's right. Trevor J's here. Good to see the Commissioner of Fun. Use your voice for kindness, your ears for compassion, your hands for charity, your mind for truth, and your heart for love. I love that. There you go. There you go. Sometimes Trevor's hail and brimstone, fire and brimstone. He's like, but this one is like, all right, go out and do just goodness in this world with your tools and your powers. Use your voice for kindness. I'm trying. I'm doing better. I'm trying not to be so negative and angry and stuff. Although I have a rant. It is a Friday. I will be doing a freak out soon, guys. You guys are going to want to be here for this one. This one is going to be hilarious in just a sec. Let's see. He's also saying your ears for compassion. You can hear a lot of different things out here, but people have selected hearing. So if you hear stuff that you don't want to hear, don't hear it. Just hear the stuff that's compassionate. Your hands for charity. That's right. Put your hands to work. And you know what? Do something for somebody else where you don't gain anything for yourself. Yeah. Where is that in this world today? The higher ups, the 1% are only just greedy for themselves, and they'll take every little breadcrumb and they won't share anything. Well, we don't have to be like them. And then someday the reckoning will come for them in the end. So yeah, use your hands for charity. I'm all about that. And your mind for truth. That's so important in today's society because there is a lot of untruths, a lot of lies, a lot of misinformation, disinformation. People are willing, like very purposefully misleading people at this point. In fact, I have a good example of that from the Raptors media scrum yesterday. We're going to talk about it in a second. Yeah, Friday Freakout incoming. If there was a little counter in the corner of the stream, you'd see like 45 seconds coming in. Friday Freakout incoming. Coming right soon. Yeah, let's see. And then your heart for love. There you go. Don't go with hate. Go with love. That's right. Thank you, Trevor J, for your words of wisdom. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you so much, Trevor. Monique is here. The superfan Monique Lawrence has returned to the chat. Love to see superfan Mo. Good morning, Raptor Freak family crew, and happy game day. The whole team went to the art gallery. Vince Carter greatness inspired city edition jerseys will be up. I can confirm that at least 2 of them were there. I'm not sure the whole team was there. But Garrett Temple and Jacoby Walter were at the Art Gallery of Ontario for the unveiling. So was Jamal McGlure. So was Eric Smith of the Fan 590. Yeah, lots of bigwigs there to celebrate and see the very temporary exhibit in the front atrium gallery of the Art Gallery of Ontario on Dundas Street over there. You guys go see it before the 17th. It's going to be coming down after this weekend. So if you really want to go see the jerseys and the statue and the greatness inspired display that's at the Art Gallery of Ontario, you need to go soon because they're going to take it all down after this weekend. So go either today, tomorrow, or Sunday, and you will get a chance to see it. But after that, it's going to be gone, and they're going to be taking all those artifacts and different things that they have down there and putting them in different places. So yeah. I think that it looked like a really cool, swanky event last night. In fact, we'll talk about it some more in a sec. Trevor's saying, why Raptors reporter always on some BS? Here we go. Here's the Friday Freakout coming right now. On some BS to tell Grady that Oshai said that he's a surprise or Grady jumped this year. Yeah, okay. All right, Friday Freakout 0-0 right here. Countdown's here. All right, you motherfucking piece of shit, Aaron Ben Rose. You piece of shit, Aaron Ben Rose. Aaron Rose, SI, Sports Illustrated, Raptors reporter of SI. Yeah, you fucker. You sorry piece of shit. Aaron Rose, 2-finger salute for you. You can see the fingers today because I'm so mad at you. All right, you can go watch the practice interview from yesterday that we had with Oshai Abaji, Grady Dick, and Darko Rajakovic. For some reason, I don't know, the press, because the Raptors were on the road and they're away for like a week or 2 weeks, they don't get to see them up front and really get their negativity out on them. So these guys were all extra venomous with their bullshit and their half-assed negging kind of bullshit gaslighting shit. And well, you could see it in the clip. Go watch it and you'll see exactly why we're pissed off at Aaron Rose right now. Aaron Rose does an interview with Oshai Abaji first, and he asks Oshai, did you see this jump from Grady Dick happening this season from the work that you saw with him, working with him this summer? And Oshai very matter-of-factly says, I don't think any of us saw this kind of jump from Grady, that we are surprised, but it's fantastic, is what he said. So what happens? Grady comes up next on the podium, and he's talking to Aaron Rose, and Aaron Rose says, "You know, Oshai didn't think you." He was surprised. He didn't think you jump like this season. He said he didn't think you would do this. And Grady's like, "Wait, well, that's weird. Did he really say that?" Trick question. He said trick question. Grady said that, and I was like, "Well, that's what Aaron Rose is doing to you. He's fucking conflating and twisting Oshai Abaji's words within the same clip." And all the Raptors fans can see what you did, Aaron Rose, you piece of shit. Why the fuck would you take somebody's words and twist them around like that? Why? Because you're trying to cause dissension on the Raptors team? Are you trying to? Because in a moment there, Grady's like, wait, did my guy sell me out? Did my Rock Chalk Jayhawk sell me out? And by saying that, oh, you didn't think I could do this? In some ways, you confused Grady. Fuck you, Aaron Rose, for confusing Grady or purposefully misleading him on trying to make him think that Ochai Agbaji did not believe in him. Because in some ways, what you did was you hurt his ego a little bit. Yeah, you fucking pieces of shit in the media. And I'm calling out Aaron Rose. I'm calling out Louis Zatzman. I'm calling out fucking Lascaris. These fucking sorry-ass pieces of shit that are not real journalists because they have no journalistic integrity. Aaron Rose, you just showed right there you cannot be fucking trusted. You fuck, because you just showed us your process of how you convolute and twist the facts for your fucking benefit of what you're trying to fucking goal. That's the problem right there. Seriously, we could see your process in the whole fucking interview clip. This is what Oshai said. This is fucking Aaron Rose's bent out of shape fucking interpretation and how he confuses fucking Grady Dick. So I'm going to tell everybody out there that ingests Raptors media, fucking take Aaron Ben Rose as far as you can fucking throw his sorry ass across the room. Because that motherfucker is not a real journalist, obviously, because it's about facts, Aaron Rose, and not twisting them in the minutes into the person that you just watch it. You can see exactly what I'm talking about, how much of a piece of shit he is. Then we'll go off on, I think it was Zatzman. It's either Zatzman's or Lascaris. Both of them suck to a degree. Louis Zatzman, you never fucking played basketball at any kind of level. I can tell you, little fucking nerd motherfucker. You're going to come in and ask Ochai Agbaji, the first question you say, when you guys came into training camp, you knew you weren't really going to be competing for a championship. Motherfucker, first of all, you stepped in it right there, Louis Zatzman. Do you think that any player in the NBA starts their training camp, starts their season, starts their off season to get better with the mindset of, oh, I'm not going to try and compete for a championship? It doesn't matter how bad the team is. It doesn't matter if the team's rebuilding. The way that competitors think, and you don't know this because you're not a fucking athlete. You're not a real competitor, Zatzman, you little piece of shit. If it's Zarikis, whatever, Adam Lasarikis, either one of you, I can't tell which one it is. It's either Zatzman or Lasarisk. Fucking pieces of shit. You guys aren't athletes. You don't know what the mind of a competitor is. You think that Ochai Agbaji did all he did in training camp, thinking he can't fucking get the Larry O'Brien. You pieces of shit negging them. And then all the questions from you were like, well, it was such a jovial kind of feeling in training camp with the culture and the team feeling good. Does it still feel like that after all the losing on the road trip? And he's coming at the Raptors, Grady and Ochai, with this negging shit. And then even Darko set that motherfucker. He said, listen, we are in a rebuilding year. And if you haven't noticed, look at our injury list. And I was like, yeah, get that little shithead. That motherfucker who should not be covering basketball because he has no basis in it. You know, at least Michael Graves played some fucking basketball and can understand it to a degree on a certain technical level. But you little shitheads that never fucking played at any kind of fucking level, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I'm speaking to Louis Zatzman and Adam Lascaris. These fucking pieces of shit, horrible ass fucking media fucks. Yeah, there's your Friday freak out. Because I'm sick of it. Y'all are lying to the players to their face within 5 minutes of each other. And you're also negging the hell out of our coach and our players. Yeah, we're losing. We get that. But like Darko said, it's not about looking at a record right now. It's about small victories and getting better every day. So yeah, get with the picture. Y'all are supposed to be knowledgeable and educating the public. You know what? It sounds like the public needs to educate y'all sorry asses, media, because you don't know what you're fucking talking about. There you go. There's your Friday freak out. I mean, seriously, we know what the drill is. The fans know what the drill is. Raptors fan nation is social media can be so toxic and so crazy. Why do they get this better than you fucking jackasses working for the media? Seriously, why don't y'all understand what the mode is right now? We're in rebuild mode. And why are you keying on all the losing and like telling like seriously, he's coming to Grady. He's like, you must be depressed and so sad from losing all these games. And oh, your life is so horrible because of this motherfucker. Man, I hate our media so much. If we could get rid of our media, it'd be so good. There's only a couple of them I would keep. Most of them would get the fuck out of here, man. Seriously. They're so fucking full of shit, man. All right, Trevor. Thank you for keying off the Friday freakout. Yeah, and hopefully I didn't cuss too much. No swearing Fridays, right? Comma crazy. Monique is saying, see, Kareem, you're just like me when it comes to Vince. Bitterness is right. I wanted a sorry too. I want this too. And this is why Monique and I are real ones. We'll never, ever feel the way we feel about Kyle Lowry for Vince Carter. We'll never, ever feel the way we feel about DeMar DeRozan for Vince Carter. It's just not possible at this point. There's a huge blemish in his history, and it's just not going to be completely redacted and taken off his record. In some ways, we are okay with honoring him because we have to. The team has decided this. In some ways, we may not have decided to do this if we had been the powers that be. But you know what? We're going to go with the flow, and we're not going to fight against the flow of life. We're going to go with the flow, and we're going to be like, you know what? I am proud of his part, and honoring him right now is justified. And it's also something that is healing, and it's something good for everybody. But in some ways, he could have fixed things completely if he did what Kareem and Monique are asking. But it's just not within his realm. And honestly, Vince, if you could parcel it out, all the little different parts about your departure, and figure out your ownership of what you could control and what you actually did that was worse about it, and came clean on that, that would work. But you're not going to do it. I know you won't, and you won't have to. And it's in some ways that won't get you us fully back. I'm proud of you, man, and I'm proud of your part in our history. I'm not proud of your departure, and I'm not proud of the ops life that we've had with you for 20 years. I didn't want to be against you, bro. But what the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm a fan. I don't control whether you take off on us, whether this trade happens by Rob Babcock. All I do is cheer for the Raptors. And then when you cross lines and things get like they were with us, a lot of ugly stuff gets built up, a lot of ugly and pent up energy. Your family starts to hate Raptors. Your family starts to hate the Toronto Raptors as a franchise. They start to hate Canada in general. And that's what I'm worried about. In some ways, the signs of that were in the open gym episode that, his daughter had that jacket given to her 10 years ago by the Raptors, and she didn't wear it until that day when he got retired. Yeah, that tells you all you need to know. The fact that we've heard the story about his auntie coming back to Toronto with him for his first game as a New Jersey Net and fighting with our fans in the crowds. We can't get this twisted. There's been an animosity longer than there was a joy and happyful time when he was actually a Raptor. That period of time is shorter than the time where he was an op. So there's a lot of conditioning behind the scenes, and they've all been on their best behavior. And in some ways, the Carter family and people around him that care about him have hated Toronto. That's just the damn truth. Michelle Carter has hated Toronto for most of the last 20 years because of how we've treated her baby boy. And, there's no denying that. And that's why, in some ways, Raptors fans that are younger, that don't understand all the history, don't understand all the op energy that is involved between Carter and Toronto. And that's why, in some ways, the healing of him getting our cheers and getting our adulation and our honoring has been so healing for him, because he's felt like we've hated him for the last 20 years. And in some ways, he's getting a bona fide reaction that's saying, yeah, no, we actually do love you. And actually, we really do honor and care about what you did to help our country. So it's a weird situation. In some ways, if you're not old enough to be there in 2004 and really understand it as an adult, you really don't get this whole thing and why it's so complicated, for a reason why a super fan like Monique Lawrence, who's so diehard Raptors, is not totally cool with what's happened. And just like me, I'm in the same place as Mo. We're very, very similar in our fandom. We are very much for the Raptors first. And in some ways, that's why we can't fully all totally forgive Vince. We can do it. We can't fully do it. Yeah, Mo's saying everything else about part two is perfect of Open Gym. Wow, Mo Pete, Antonio Davis, etc. I forget that Antonio Davis played for our team for quite a while. He played for our team on 2 stints too. So he's a pretty long-standing Raptor, and he's also an all-star for our team. So in some ways, he had a bad exit too, and he gets called. But I think it was so important that Antonio was up here also, because it really shows that in some ways, that he embraces his Toronto roots on his team too. I mean, he's more Pacers Nation for sure. He's a more well known in some ways as being an Indiana Pacer, but his part of his career with the Raptors was very successful and interesting also. And I'm just glad he made the effort to come up for Vince and make an appearance at that. It's really cool. And of course, behind the scenes on Open Gym, you see the real kind of fun of D Brown and Tracy McGrady and Morris and Charles and all of them palling around, JYD, Muggsy. Yeah, you get to see the kind of them and at ease and as teammates and the thing that they love. And that's what AD was saying, that when you ask old players that retired what they miss two things: the competitiveness of being competing, and your camaraderie with your teammates. And that's why it's so special. In some ways, I hope that these guys get together more often and do reunions and hang out and stay close together and really interact with each other. And that the bond is being on the Raptors around 2000, 2001. Yeah, I love that stuff so much. I really do. Our alumni are awesome. Listen, as much as I have a problem with Vince, he's probably the most pariah, like a former Raptor in the whole entire history of the Raptors, just because he was so high level, such an important player, and what happened was so dirty. So dirty. Let's keep going. Mo's saying Vince pep talk was nice. Lil Mo is ready for success. Mo Pete's son. Yeah, that was cool. That's cool. I mean, Vince should have a special connection with Morris Peterson and Alvin Williams in particular, because those guys really were kind of like dudes that were really in there with him. And that's cool to see. Like Morris Peterson's son had a fantastic time around Vince Carter's jersey retirement, meeting all of his dad's old teammates and getting pictures taken with Drake and all kinds of different people there. There's a little bit of the Drake part on Open Gym where Drake is giving him a shirt for one of his birthday parties. Now, Vince had this famous birthday party at the Science Center in the early 2000s, and it got shut down because of the fire code, because too many people showed up. And as Vince said, even his teammates couldn't get into the door because it was so crazy. Of course, the Science Center is a crazy facility, and it's a kind of a one entrance kind of place. And well, yeah, they were like, yeah, we got to get everybody out because this is too many people. And apparently Drake had a T-shirt from that event. Pretty interesting. Kareem saying two things need to happen for me tonight. Tyson better knock out Paul, and the Raptors better beat the Pistons. If this doesn't happen, I'll have to put up all my Christmas directions to uplift my spirits. There you go. In case if you get both of them or you get half one of those things happen. I mean, listen, they did the little weigh-in yesterday, and Jake Paul got slapped in the face by Mike Tyson, and then they did a little bit of WWE play acting like they're really mad at each other. Hilarious, hilarious. I mean, you can see right through it. I mean, seriously, man. And what is that tattoo around Jake Paul's ear? It looks like on the down low a swastika. What is that? Is like that guy like low key signaling white supremacy somehow? I don't know. I don't put it past this fucking pieces of shit. But yeah, anyway, Paul versus Tyson tonight. Finally, I remember them hyping up this fight like months and months ago, and now it's finally here. Yeah, I'm totally on Team Tyson also. I hope it's just like his video game, a punch out, and he's gonna punch him out just like Tyson would have punched that kid out way back when he tried to play him on the video game. That's right. That's what I'm hoping too. I'm with you on this. I want you to get both these also. Yeah, because it'll be for us too, for me also. Yeah, and put those. I hope you don't have to put those Christmas decorations up because you're satisfied and good things happen tonight. How about that? Nako's here. Gerald, what's up, man? Lex, do a Scotty Barnes as Bane impersonation. Scotty Barnes as Bane? What do you mean? I don't watch the new Batman, so I don't really know how Bane talks. I mean, I'd rather do a Scotty Barnes as Arthur. I don't know. Scotty doesn't look like Bane. He does look like Batman. It's a black mask. And it was good that he was wearing a mask and he's out there playing. It shows some gumption that he's like getting closer. And I just want him to return because we need him. We need him bad. It's kind of interesting. We lose him like in the fourth game of the season. And we're like 1-3 in those 4 games, and now we're like 2-10. So we've only won one game out of like 7 afterwards or 8 afterwards. That's like really, we have a way better chance of winning when Scotty's on the court. And we can't gauge anything about this Raptors team unless Scotty is in the lineup. Everything otherwise, whether it's last year after Scotty and Yacht went out, whether it's now with Scotty out right now, you can't gauge the Raptors realistically or like correctly with Scotty Barnes out like this. Yeah, I can't do it. I mean, if I do this, what I'll do is just put a mask over my face, and that's it. There you go. This is my Scotty Barnes's Bane mask impression. Kareem saying, I never thought the number placement was going to be top left on the city jersey. Great work, creators. That's an amazing statue. Can anyone confirm that this statue will be at Art Gallery, Ontario, and not Jurassic Park? No, it's not going to be in the art gallery. It's going to leave there on Sunday after they close. And I don't know where it's going to go. That's what I was saying. It's probably going to be somewhere near the arena. I would probably guess maybe it'll be inside the arena. Probably either that in the entryway coming from Union or right around in the entryway where the entrance is at gate 1, where a lot of the times the people are there with the little hoop, and the cheerleaders are throwing the hoop in, they're filming people coming in. I can see it being there or being somewhere in the entryway in the big atrium coming in from Union Station. Or maybe they do put it out in Jurassic Park. Maybe. We'll have to see. Let's see. Kaz is here. Good to see Trucker Kaz. Good morning, Lex and crew. Two Fajurladilata. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. But good morning to you. I think that's some sort of foreign words. I don't know. Let's see. Randolph is here. Game day blessings, beloved Raptor freaks, most informative gang. You can brace yourself for the worst, but when life's realities hit, you're never ready for its impact. Yeah, life can throw you curveballs, and life can be weird and strange and tough to deal with. But that's why I say, if you're having a lot of abrasion, a lot of friction against you, you're not living with the flow of life, and you need to kind of go with the flow of life that's naturally flowing the way it's supposed to. And that's probably my best words of wisdom with this statement. It is like, if and you can't totally predict what's going to happen in life. It can be unexpected, and in some ways you got to go with it and just make the best of it. There's that song by The Police, when the world is running down, you make the best of what's still around. And in some ways that's so apropos for what's going on right now. So yeah, in some ways we just got to make the best of it and control what we can control in our sphere of influence. And life's gonna life. That's what the message. Blessings to you, Randolph Phillips, and all the great Raptor Freak families out there, the Phillips family and everybody. So happy to have you here, Randolph. Let me see if Leo's checked in yet. Yeah, here we go. Leo said 20 minutes ago, the self is made, not given. There you go. The self is made. You make yourself. You can't just be given it, Bronny. You have to make yourself. You can't just be given it. That's what I say. Thank you, Leo, for your life tips also. Awesome. All right, let's see what else we're saying here. Smooth saying, yeah, I hope there's a W tonight, but I think Paul is beating Tyson tonight. I don't know. Like, in some ways, is this rigged like WWE? Do they already have the script written? Like, seriously, are they really going to do this? Like, it's a legitimate like battle where it's like these guys are really fighting each other? Because in some ways, I'll tell you this: as much as Paul is trained, Mike Tyson is a whole other level, and I don't care how old he is. I don't care how old Mike Tyson is. He can't be that much slower, and he has all the skills and the experience and the techniques from so many years and stuff like that. I mean, if he knew that he was going to fight him, he's been training for him, he's fucked. I'm telling you right now, Jake Paul could get turned up real bad by Mike, who's actually been like training and is in really good shape at his age. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm definitely on the old head side because I'm an old head, and I'm the kid that played Mike Tyson's Punch Out. And I'm not some kid that's watching Jake Paul and Logan Paul do stupid podcasts. So I'm definitely in Camp Tyson, and I'd like to see him knock him the fuck out, honestly. But we'll have to see, Smooth. We'll have to see. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy game day. Pistons are good so far this season. We need to be careful with the turnovers. Yeah, Cade Cunningham has been absolutely dominant with being the leading scorer and also filling it up in all kinds of other ways. They've had a lot of success. They do have some bigs that are, very active, and it can be an issue. Jalen Duren in particular is somebody that is very physical and very strong and is a board machine. And in some ways, we're going to need bodies to be blocking him out and trying to do their best on the offensive boards against them, and also stopping them from getting offensive boards. Isaiah Beef Stewart, he is also another big beefy guy that's going to be somebody we're going to have to deal with tonight also. So Duran and Stu are two very key players for them. Now, other than that, I mean, they've got a lot of guys that are kind of can be inconsistent. Tobias Harris has been a great ad for them as far as bringing leadership and knowing how to win in some ways, because he has a lot of experience like that. So he's another player we should watch out for and key on also. So yeah, the Pistons are 5-8, and they had a couple of overtime games this week already. They had the one where they beat Miami in the in-season tournament on Tuesday, and then they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks the next night in an overtime game where Giannis scored 59 points. So, yeah, Pistons are hanging with people. And, well, their record's better than ours. They've got twice as many plus one wins than we do right now. So, and none of this has to do with Casey anymore because Casey's long gone. Kaz is giving a two-finger salute to Aaron Rose. Yes, justified. Two-finger salute to you, Aaron Rose. And I'll keep calling you out. Average Raptors fan won't understand. It's like, whoa, well, the article's out there. Just understand, you should not fucking take anything this guy says. You take it with a grain of salt. Seriously. Was he the one who did the report about the Gary Trent contract that y'all brought to me and say, yeah, don't listen to him, man. The dude is full of shit. And he, in some ways, he doesn't even, is there even journalistic integrity anymore in this post-Trump world? Are we just going on lies and disinformation and misinformation now is just the norm? And that, it doesn't matter if the press get the facts right anymore. Aaron Rose, you signify that this morning, you little piece of shit. Smooth saying it will probably be a TKO. Remember, Paul is 29. Okay, he's 29. That's a pretty prime age to be a fighter. But who cares? I don't care. Age is just a number. And Mike Tyson is a legend and an icon. That's what I'm saying. Like Mike Tyson's a legend and icon. Yeah, I think that Smooth's right about this. And a straight up knockout would maybe tough to get. And a technical knockout may be more likely. I could see this. Kareem saying, I fucks with Jason Goebel. He likes Mark Anthony. Mark created the best song of all time, and I don't understand a single word, but the vibes, man, the vibes when Viva Mi Vida plays My Hips Don't Lie. There you go, Shakira. So, all right, you like the cop from Miami and his musical taste. So you're saying, yeah, Jason's cool in my book. Well, hopefully he's very cool to us tonight. He can be. In the past couple of years, he's been a friendly ref to the Raptors at times. So I'm not going to hate on them. And once again, I'm going to say referees, there's home cooking that could be had at the Scotiabank Arena for us. In some ways, if you're going to have any kind of questionable calls, let's make the fans in the crowd happy. How about that, Scott Foster? How about that? That's what I say right there. Carlos saying, good morning, Lex, and most gracious freaks. Good morning to you, Carlo JS. Santino. Yeah, good. Hope Santino's doing really well. Mike saying open gym yesterday was really good. The Red Bosch era will be interesting. Yeah, they're not even covering it with Bosch, though. They don't give a shit about Bosch, Mike. They don't give a shit. In some ways, it's like Vince coming back and clearing things up with his legacy. I don't think Bosch ever will. And I don't care. I honestly, and Bosch doesn't care either because Bosch has championships in Miami. He's obviously Miami established, even if he's got his start in Toronto. And he's one of our franchise leaders in different categories, not leaders, but up near the top. It doesn't matter the years that he spent in Toronto. Wash them out of the way. There was just a preamble to his Miami career. And everything that matters to Chris Bosh is his Miami career. He doesn't give a shit about embracing his early roots because there's no Vinsanity. There's no very notable things that happen with Chris other than some all-stars and maybe some playoff appearances. But, yeah, I don't ever see Chris Bosh circling back. And honestly, why would we retire number 4 when Scotty currently wears it? That's what I'll say to a lot of people that say Chris Bosh deserves his jersey retired. No, he doesn't. He should have, maybe, if he had done things correctly with keeping up with his roots and his connections to our franchise, but he doesn't care about them. And in some ways, Vince was like him for most of the time more recently. He's like, in some ways, he didn't care if he was going to come back here because he just supposed he wouldn't because of so much hate towards him and enmity. Well, in some ways, Bosch has got the same feelings, but in some ways, he's not invested enough. He's just going to be like, I don't care. I'm Miami Heat. I'm in the Hall of Fame. I got championships. I don't need the Raptors for anything. So yeah, they're not basing this around Bosch in any kind of way, Mike. You might as well have said the Calderon era when you said that just now, because that's who they're putting a focus on right there. Trevor's saying, see that slap from Mike Tyson put on Paul. Mike is ready for all the smoke. Yeah, that's all bullshit that they do in the weigh-ins. They always do this kind of stuff. Somebody gets hit and they get all amped up, and people have to pull them apart. Or maybe there's somebody says talk some shit. They get all up in each other's face. It's all part of the spectacle of building it up. That was totally a stage slap. You know it was. And it is what it is. I hope Mike wins. That's what I'll keep saying about this. I hope Mike wins. Do it for the old guys. Come on, Mike Tyson. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Kareem saying, if I see Tyson knocked out, I'll be traumatized. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be traumatized. I'm not going to watch the fight. I'll hear what happens and I'll say, oh, this is what happened, guys. And we'll talk about it then. But I'm not going to watch it. I'm not no schmuck that's going to pay pay-per-view or anything. I can remember very vividly where I was when Tyson bit the ear off of Vander Holyfield. I was in this in a college party at FSU off of Tharp Street. Or no, not Tharp, High Road. And yeah, I was in a crowded room with a bunch of college students because I was a college student at the time myself. And it was crazy seeing it with so many people all at once and everybody freaking out and reacting to it at the same time. Like he bit his ear off. He bit his ear off. And we were like, oh my God. And when we saw that, it was crazy. It was a keg party. And there were probably about 200 people in a very small apartment, all inside jammed together, watching that memorable experience from me. I've watched some fights in the past back in those days, but I'm not really a boxing or UFC guy at this point in my life. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Let's see. Kaz is saying Mo Pete was one of my favorite Raptors of all time. Me too. Me too. I've never liked the top guys on teams. I mean, I like Scott a lot right now, and I have a Scotty jersey. But usually in the history of the Raptors, I'd never go get a Bosch jersey or a Carter jersey or any of the top name guys, like even Kyle and DeMar. I wouldn't get their jerseys because I always like the second bananas. I always like the guys doing the stuff on below. That's why I had the Keon Clark jersey here. That's why I have a JYD jersey. That's why I have an Alvin Williams jersey. That's why I have a Tyrone Muggsy Bogues jersey. I was always looking for those guys, and Morris was one of those guys also. That was just an unsung hero, a real one for us, an Iron Man, a guy who spent most of his career in the Toronto Raptors jersey. And he was just a real one for us, and he always has been. So salute to Morris Peterson, one of my favorite Raptors also, Cass. We share that. We share that in common. Yeah, Brian's here. Good to see King. Dap to King. To the point, y'all. T.O. The Point is a YouTube channel. It's fantastic. What's up, Freak Nation? Doing double duty tonight, watching the game and Paul getting knocked the fuck out. 2 wins tonight. Let's go. That's what I want to hear, too. Sounds like a lot of us are on the same page. We've got a to-do list. Watch Jake Paul get punched out and watch the Raptors beat the Pistons in an NBA Cup game on their home arena. Our court's going to look really sweet and nice, and our jerseys are going to be really awesome too. So I'm excited for the game tonight. We need to take care of business and beat the Pistons. Do as best as we can. That's right. Mike's saying, I hope that Mike Tyson wins, though. Yeah, I do too. I mean, I want to have some hope in this world that a douchebag will get punched out by Mike Tyson tonight. That's right. Mike's saying, I think Vince's mom was upset with the way Vince was treated through the years. She's definitely a strong, opinionated woman. Yeah, of course she was. She's part of the reason why he's the way he is, good or bad. Let's just put it that way. She's a huge reason for the reason why he is who he is, good or bad. He is definitely a mama's boy. And in some ways, she shaped his mind and opinion on things very strongly because of her own opinions. And, Charles Oakley was there, and I was wondering if Charles actually talked to Michelle or Michelle has a problem with Charles. It could very well be that Michelle Carter still has a problem with Charles Oakley, and she won't talk to him because he basically said Michelle Carter is running the Toronto Raptors right now. He called her out in the media way back then. Yeah, I have problems with Michelle Carter. I can tell she's a busybody, and she's a little bit too influential and powerful in certain ways than she should be. And honestly, that is a real redemptive arc with them showing them, like when Vince's the jersey goes up and he's saying, we are up there. That's us up there. Can you imagine getting to this point with this at this point? Because seriously, behind the scenes, went through stuff and him being so sensitive, he was tortured by going on the wrong side with us. And I feel like he has no outside of his head kind of sensibility. Like, don't you understand what you would do to your fan base in Toronto, the way things went down at the end of things? Like, seriously, why couldn't you get out of your head, out of your ego, and see the whole big picture and understand this kind of stuff? Somebody like DeMar DeRozan very easily could do this. Kyle Lowry understands this kind of stuff. You know, a lot of the Raptors since you understand this stuff. In fact, you were the cautionary tale for these guys. They're like, oh shit, we don't want to cross Toronto because look at the way they treat Vince. And in some ways, yeah, in some ways, that is a cautionary tale for DeMar and Kyle and all them. And I don't get it. In some ways, Vince, maybe we needed to invent social media like 5 years before we did, so that you could understand it way, way better, because that's the deal changer. You keep saying this. If I had had social media and understood the impact I was having, you know, he's not even talking about positive impact. He's talking about negative impact on Toronto and what he did. I may have done things differently because I would have understand just how much I hurt people. Because you did. You hurt people. And, well, we hurt you back. And that was part of the whole arrangement after things went sour in 2004. Yeah. Brian's saying 3 keys for the Raptors to win tonight. Number 1, hit the threes. Yeah, this was interesting. Darko said in the the conference yesterday, the media conference, that they came to him. They're like, with the 3-pointers, you guys are not shooting as many as the other teams. And Darko very adamantly said, I don't want this to happen. I want our guys to shoot more threes. I'm encouraging them to shoot more threes. It's just not naturally happening in the games in certain ways. And some people say, oh, you could set up systems for that. But no, it's not just that. It's like they have to cultivate and find the opportunities sensibly when the shots are high percentage or good idea to take them. In some ways, the other teams are keying on the 3 and really suffocating you at the line, and that's part of it. So Darko is very adamant that he is encouraging the Raptors to shoot more threes and to get more threes to go in. Now, against the Pistons, they're not the best 3-point shooting team in the league. We could actually have a good chance to outshoot them at the 3-point line tonight, guys, just so you know. Number 2, keep the turnovers down, for sure. For sure. It's weird. They were describing the Milwaukee game in the in-season tournament on Tuesday as the best defensive game that the Raptors have had all season. Yeah, sure. Technically, because it was a low-scoring affair and both teams were having trouble shooting, I don't know if I'd take that victory lap on that, Darko. In some ways, I thought that the game on Tuesday was one of the worst games we played so far this season. And, you can go ahead and say that you feel like, the defense got better in that game. But honestly, I think the Bucks are really bad and that they're having trouble making baskets and shooting in general. And that'll make our defense look better. So I wouldn't take any of that kind of from that last game just because it was a lower scoring game than most of the games the Raptors have had this year. I wouldn't do that. But yeah, keep the turnovers down. Really, really got to do that because this game matters. And in some ways, we play cleaner and smarter and better. We're going to beat the Pistons. The turnovers are important for sure. And number 3, win the rebounds on top of all they're doing now. Yeah, that one may be the hardest one out of those 3 is, the battle of rebounding against Beef Stew and Duran and different other bigs on the, they don't have too many bigs on the Pistons. They got Beef Stew, they got Duran, and Paul Reed off the bench. But after that, I mean, really, that's their 3 bigs. And then Tobias Harris is the next biggest guy after that. So we got to negate Duran and Stewart on this part. And in some ways, that'll be Jakob and Bruno Fernando. Maybe Bruno Fernando can be a good foil for Beef Stew. And Jakob could do a good job on Jalen Duran because he's the one. He's the one right there. Jalen Duran's a guy who can go out there and get you 20 rebounds. So could Beef Stew. If they're just dominating stuff. So somebody's got to put bodies on them. Somebody's got to put bodies on them tonight for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Smooth saying Chris Bosh era. Yeah. I don't want to call it that. Let's change it to the Jose Calderon era. Now, I don't want to give Chris Bosh any flowers in any kind of way. If we're going to turn around and honor Chris Bosh in our 40th anniversary or our 35th anniversary, I'm going to be gagging. Seriously. Because him and Vince were 2 people that I really didn't ever want to honor down the road. And, now we've honored Vince. Hopefully we won't be doing something stupid with Chris. We'll have to see. Number 4, if it goes in the rafters, I want it to say Barnes on the jersey. Seriously. And I don't think that Chris Bosh deserves to get his jersey retired by the Raptors. Seriously. If we're going to start having this debate, in some ways he's close, but I think that exit matters. And I think that also whether he's embraced his legacy or alumni with our team matters also. And he hasn't done that. He hasn't done that. Kyle, DeMar, Freddie, Pascal, they all should get their jerseys retired before Chris Bosh. And then Scotty probably before that. And then 4 goes up with Barnes on the instead of Bosh is what I'll say right there. Kazakhstan, Lex, I appreciate you standing up for the players against the media. That's our Raptor freak right there. Yeah, I've been doing this consistently for a few years now. I'm not afraid to get in the chat and the comments on the things and call these guys out. Of course, they don't learn. I mean, these guys are miserable people, obviously. I don't know if they do this shit on purpose or this is just all true reflections of their personalities, that they're just weaselly little negging shitheads. But I don't understand it sometimes. Like, I wish that they were happier people because maybe they would come out with happier questions, or maybe they just are always trying to nag the team. I get it. They're losing. We understand this, but get with the program. We're rebuilding. And honestly, Darko said we're not keying on the record right now. We're not keying on the 2-10 record. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking at improvement with each individual player and then together as a whole and getting better and better and figuring out how to win. This is just a part of the process. But the media is supposed to be educated on this. The media is supposed to be smart on this, but they're just dumb. And then not only that, they're so disrespectful to our people. I get it. I wonder, in the Vince Carter story about coming to Toronto, he said everything went wrong. My flight was wrong. My ride, my hotel was canceled. Was there hockey forces at that time working to make it uncomfortable for Vince so he'd have a bad first impression of Canada? Maybe these are lessons that the Raptors and MLSE learned the hard way from mistreatment of Vince when he first showed up. That's why Darko's showing up at the airport when Dennis Schroeder's coming to our team. That's why they're going head over heels to go and help roll the red carpet out for Raptors and take care of them, because we don't want bad first impressions with players come to Canada for the first time. This could totally be part of why the success of the Masai era has been like, we're going to take care of this aspect, because look at what happened with Vince in 1999 when he came to our team and just how disorganized things were. In some ways, once again, those media guys that come to there cover different sports, some of them, and some of them are coming with their hockey negativity from the Leafs Nation and their failures since the 60s. And some of them are just assholes and they just come in miserable and they just, oh man, they're such bad vibes. They're just bad vibes is what it is. The media guys are just bad vibes. Samson, you're cool. Oren, you're cool. William Liu, you're cool. Josh Lewinberg, you're mostly pretty cool. Blake Murphy, you're cool. But there's a lot of these people that are just Debbie Downers and negging the team unnecessarily in their interview questions. Michael Grange is the epitome of it. Doug Smith can do it sometimes. Now, Doug Smith, he can be good and bad. But yeah, Zatzman, Aaron Rose, Lascaris, Steve Simmons. A lot of these guys are fucks in the way they ask questions and the negativity that they try to transfer to our players and coaches in the interviews. Yeah, I'll do this forever, Cass. This is part of my role in the whole thing. I'm a fan. I'm a super fan. I'm going to mix it up, and I'm going to put people on notice for being out of pocket like Aaron Rose was yesterday. That's right. Smooth saying Chris Bosh don't need no focus, man. Yeah, he doesn't need no focus. That's right. We didn't put him in the middle of any of the clips. Did you see him in the coming attractions clip, Mike, for the Open Gym episode? No, you didn't. You saw Jose, and then they showed El Mago. They showed Andrea Bagnani, and the this is part of it right here. In some ways, it's a diss to Chris, because the whole episode is about how suddenly American players didn't want to play for us after what Vince did to us. And Chris Bosh is the epitome of that whole thing. He came and he was our franchise player for a few years, and then he sold us out and went down to South Beach with LeBron. So it's like that whole episode is already lined up with the narrative that they're going to talk about how people like Bosh dissed Canada, and the international players were the ones we turned to, and they came in and did stuff like Garbajosa and even Anthony Parker, who came from a foreign league and played for our team. He was kind of considered an international player, even though he's American. So yeah, Mike's laughing. Smooth saying it should be Jose Calderon. I like that. Yeah, they're going to do that. Jose is, in some ways somebody I've ignored on this channel. I need to pay more attention to Jose Calderon. In fact, I need to get his book and read it. I need that. Get that for Christmas. I don't even need a copy of it. Maybe I do want a hard copy of it and put it in the bookshelf with the Raptors book by the prehistoric, and also DeMar's book Above the Noise. I'll start a little Raptors book collection, and also Doug Smith's book We the North. Yeah, I'll put them all in there in the bookcase, and then maybe they'll be in the studio, and we'll see them behind me. Uh, let's see. Jose is the link between VC and DeMar. Yeah, I like that. That's the best way to put it. I mean, Chris Bosh is also right because he did technically play between the two of them. Like he got to play with Vince that first year, but he left. It was his rookie year. It was Chris Bosh was a rookie the year Vince Carter left. So he saw Vince Carter diss our team very blatantly, and he repeated it later. Seriously, like in some ways, it's like, what do you learn from a franchise player cutting out and quitting on a team? Well, Chris Bosh learned a lot that season, the first year of Sam Mitchell coaching our team. Yeah, he learned a lot there. And then Bosh was still here when DeMar showed up, and DeMar got to see Chris before he took off and went to South Beach. And DeMar learned all of this, and that's when DeMar decided, I want to be like I am Toronto. I'm Mr. Toronto, because he saw the pain of what we went through when Chris Bosh made a decision to go to South Beach with LeBron James. Yeah, he saw the pain in Raptors Nation, and he had empathy for it, and he was like, I'm not going to sell them out like that. And that's amazing thing. That is amazing thing right there. Yeah, Fiercey's got Aaron Rose as a trash can. Yeah, I love that. Both y'all are saying that, Kaz and Fiercey. I love it. Nako saying Aaron Rose is playing Game of Thrones. Yeah, I don't know why he's doing that. I mean, listen, Rock Chalk, Jayhawk, these guys are bonded. In some ways, they've spent so much time together this year, off season and as teammates, and they really like each other. That's why it didn't fit. That's why Grady's brain was like malfunctioning when he said that. It's like Oshai would never say something like that, was what he was going on in his head. Yeah, he didn't say that. Aaron Rose bent in words. And fuck you, Aaron Rose, for that. And in some ways, it's like maybe they're trying to shake our young guys on our team because they know they're so young. Some of them are naive. And the press has dirty tricks. And that was a dirty trick. Aaron Rose, even if you didn't mean to do that, that was a honest mistake. You're a dumbass, man. You're a himbo. Like, you must be stupid if you didn't understand what you were doing was misconstruing facts and also misleading. And in some ways, when you put that on display for all of us to see, we understand that you cannot be taken as a reputable news source. Because honestly, if you're going to do that in that kind of way, well, why should we believe anything that you write? Seriously. You know, this was something Blake made a joke on the 905 game the other day. I said, Blake, you're a media member. Are you telling the truth? Because I don't know if this is true or not. Because he said, oh, they take the stat how many minutes each challenge takes. And I said, is that a joke or is that real? Because you're media. In some ways, I'm going to take what you said as fact because you're media. And he said, no, it's not true, Raptors freak. I'm just making a joke. And he very much clarified it. This is something that these guys got to toe the line on. I know y'all are half entertainment because your Raptors show, you're going to have to be funny and stuff like that. But also at the same time, you have to understand some people may actually believe what you're saying, like what Doug Smith said about Armani Brooks a couple years ago. So, yeah, joking around about basketball stuff is not smart if you're a bona fide media member with a press pass. It's not smart. And that's why I have no patience for people like that. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Randolph saying, Lex, that was poor journalism on the part of the reporter who told Grady what Oshai said about him, and he didn't even report it to Grady correctly. He should be banned from interviewing the players. I agree with this. I absolutely agree with this. If there are any repercussions, can we take Aaron Rose's media pass away from him for doing bullshit like this? Because honestly, Grady's already been busting his ass, working so amazing and having a huge leap in his game. You know, he doesn't need any doubts. Is this a weird, insidious way that they're trying to give doubt and, self-doubt for Grady is like doing something stupid like this? Well, I'm sure this got cleared up very quickly. It could very well be that Grady walked over to Oshai and said, hey, this guy said you didn't believe in me getting a jump like we did. He said, I didn't say that like that. Why did he twist my words like that? And Grady could even watch the clip himself and see it in real time, just how much of a fucker Aaron Ben Rose is. Seriously, he could watch it and he'll see it. Yeah, let him have it, Lex. Fuck Aaron Rose. Thank you, Cass. The Friday freakout lives on. That's right. Mo's saying my bond with Mo Pete will always be super, super tight. Open gym, 10 out of 10. There you go. Mo's giving it a 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. Check out the new Vince Carter episodes of Open Gym. You'll enjoy them. That's right. Mo Pete is the best. And I love that you have such a special bond with Morris. That's right. Brian's saying Aaron is a weirdo when you hang out with him. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I mean, he's just this young guy. I've always thought of him as like the Tiger Beat reporter for the Raptors. He's the one who's kind of writing stuff for the teeny boppers. like the young fans that are casuals that really don't know what the fuck they're talking about half the time. Well, this is why, because they have somebody like Aaron Rose who's informing them. I'll say it once again: Sports Illustrated is not our friend. And how the fuck did he get that post anyway? Like, I feel like this is kind of like Duel or Fan Nation, like writer who just kind of jumped in and said, "Oh, nobody's going to do it for the Raptors. I'll do it." I don't know. Where the fuck did you come from, Aaron Rose? And are you Canadian? Are you from Toronto? Or are you from the States? Or are you some sort of fucking plant little piece of shit? And you are not a real journalist. You post TikTok stories and you get on there like you're fucking the guy who shows how stupid everything is. You know, you're like that guy. You're like that kind of journalistic integrity. That guy's great. He has more journalistic integrity than you, because he's showing me that you can put butter in a deodorant stick to grease up all your pans when you're cooking. But why don't you just take the butter stick and just do it directly? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. That guy's awesome, man. He's got like 8 million followers. He's so cool, man. Nako saying, I'm probably going to get a Grady jersey. You going to get the city edition with the Vince Carter Raptor dunk logo on it? Ooh, that might be nice. Get that number one dick. Yeah, go on and get it. Phrasing, Lex. What are you saying? Smooth saying, Toronto's been taken over by Swifties. Wow, 5 more concerts to go. Yeah, this is crazy. You know, like some people are saying tickets are like $1,000 at least down there. This is crazy. They must be making a crazy amount of money off of this. If they're going to fill the dome and they're going to do it 5 nights in a row, and people are coming down there and paying $1,000 a ticket, this is an insane amount of money generated towards Taylor Swift. I just wish she had done better to help Kamala as far as getting them to win. And, you know, all the young people that said oh, yeah, I like Kamala, you guys didn't come and show up and vote. And I'm disappointed in y'all. As just much as I'm disappointed in some of the left-leaning Democrats who didn't come out and vote for either because of some stupid shit. Man, it was all dumb. But yeah, in some ways we're going to learn from this. But yeah, Taylor Swift has taken over the city, and it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy down there. Yeah, Kaz is saying, Nako, same here. Going to get a Grady jersey for Christmas. There you go. Y'all are on the Grady train. You're riding that Grady train. It's like a gravy train, but it's a Grady train. Nako saying, I want Darko to be mean like 35% of the time. You know, Darko's taking no shit. I like how he deals with the media often, because like they come at him with something negative. He's such a great turnaround. And you see how he can do this with the players when they're feeling down. He's really good at showing the bright side of things and kind of telling it like it is in a way that's inviting and invigorating and motivating. And in some ways, he turns the negative frowns upside down from the stupid ass media and their dumbass questions. Like, why you come in and joke with him? Like, this is not a happy thing that we have so many guys on injury list. Whoever it was, I think it was Steve Simmons or somebody like that. It was the Sun reporter, I think, who said, so how was your meeting with Alex? How did that go? It's like, yeah, make light of this shit. Make light of all our laundry list of injuries so far this season. Media, you fuck faces. Yeah, no, you think Darko's happy that he has to go talk to McKechnie for so long about different players, about what's going on and stuff like that? No, he isn't. He wants his team healthy. So, yeah, y'all stop being so casual and callous about it. Be more humanitarian. And once again, remember, the players and the coaches are people, and you guys need to stop fucking talking to them with disrespectful ways like Aaron Rose did yesterday. That's what I got to say about that shit right there. That's right. That's right. Kaz is saying W freakout. Yeah, you like that. Yeah. Nah, the Friday freakout is a popular segment. It definitely is. That's right. Smith saying, really hoping for DeMar to be a Raptor again. It has to happen. That would be so cool. You know, they talked about it in the Open Gym episode that Kyle and DeMar on the download were lobbying to get Vince to come back because DeMar saw this. He said, I want to heal things for Vince with the Toronto crowds. And he really did try and lobby and get us to figure it out so that Vince could come back. But I really think the main reason why they didn't do it is because we were very much seriously coming up in the Eastern Conference and being like a real title threat to win the title, as evidence is we did win it. But at that time, if we had brought Vince in from between 2017 to 2019 or 20, he may have been more of a distraction than it helped. In some ways, the baggage of him and his history with the Raptors may have overshadowed some of the things we were doing. But on the same token, it could have been helpful for injecting energy into our team. And who knows, Vince could have maybe gotten a ring with the Raptors if things had gotten right. as far as him getting that to come back. But in some ways, I don't think Vince was interested totally in coming back and playing for the Raptors. In some ways, he saw that it may be a headache because, he was getting a lot of hate around the city. He could be going places and people would boo him or yell at him or say, fuck you, Vince. That kind of stuff would be going on. And even if we brought him back and was all happy and warm and nice and healing, there may be some fans that still hold against him, and we're going to still be like, F you, Vince. I still won't forgive you, kind of stuff. So I don't know. Maybe he was a little cowardly and like not really wanting to come here because of that, facing all that. And also, front office thought he'd be too much of a distraction when we were starting to hit on all cylinders and be at the top of the Eastern Conference, threatening for a Larry O'Brien. So, I mean, it would have been interesting. I would have loved that to happen. In fact, I've been mad at Vince for a long time, but I, even then, near the end of his career, was hoping that he would come back and circle back and wear the Raptors jersey one more time, because I feel like that would have bridged and healed everything real quick. Because in some ways, we felt like he dissed us. We felt like he dissed us as far as like turning his back and going to New Jersey and forcing the trade and quitting on us. We felt like he dissed us. So if he was actually going to come back and put our jersey on with honor and wear it again, that would have meant something. And it's too bad DeMar didn't get that to happen. Seriously. I wish they had gotten that to happen, Masai. I wish y'all had it happen. Smooth saying front office should have vetoed the trade, blocked Rob Babcock. There was true regret hiring him, man. One of the front office people admitted that in the movie, The Carter Effect. Yeah, Richard Petty, which he's an idiot himself. He's a part of the problem too. Rob Babcock and Richard Petty. Richard Petty hired Rob Babcock, first of all, so you can blame Richard Petty for that. And then you can blame Richard Petty for saying, I'm just going to let our GM be the GM. You say front office. The front office was Rob Babcock. So it's not like Rob Babcock's going to stop and veto the trade that he made himself. We got to understand that. Rob Babcock was Masai Ujiri at that time. And in some ways, Richard Petty was the guy who was the one who should have been above him, saying, this is a horrible deal. Why are you doing this? And vetoed it. But Richard Petty saw what he did. He said, you know what? I got to let my GM do what he's going to do because it's his job and his job description, and I can't control him like this. So he allowed it to happen. So if you're going to get mad at anybody for not vetoing Rob Babcock's horrible work as a GM, you got to get mad at Richard Petty, because in some ways he had the power to do it and he didn't. And I guess Larry should be kind of blamed too, because he could have probably done something as the owner also. So, man, it's tough. It's tough. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Hindsight's 2020. And well, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah. One of the front office people admitted it. Yeah. Richard Petty did. That's right. Smooth saying his brother, Pete Babcock, was the GM of the Atlanta Hawks, built that team into contender. I think that's the reason why Rob got the job. Yes. His brother was a much better GM, and he was a GM of the Hawks for a long time, a couple other teams also. And he had mostly success around him. I don't know why they thought it just transfers naturally through G&A. That's not always the case. And I don't think Rob Babcock's resume was very good at that time. I don't know why we were having such a hard time hiring people and getting people to come here, because in some ways our team was so exciting, and the idea of getting people wanting to work with Vince, it should have been easy to attract people to come here. But Kevin O'Neill, Rob Babcock, these were the hires of Richard Petty, and they're fucking idiots. And MLSC. I remember also at that time, the MLSC was more doting on the Leafs, and the Raptors were an afterthought, and they were not like really separated from the Leafs dysfunction. So in some ways, the front office problems for the Raptors in the early 2000s, after the exits of Lenny Wilkins and Glenn Grunwald, were partly because of Richard Petty and his overall umbrella of being in charge of the Leafs and the Raptors at the same time. And that in some ways, the dysfunction of Leaf kind of shit was going on in our front office moves and decisions. That, yeah, Rob Babcock might have been hired by hockey people, guys. Let's just put it that way. And that's part of the reason why this shit happened this way. I can circle around and say, blame it on the Leafs, seriously. Because until Tim Lewicki showed up, we were very much ran by Leaf people, our team. And that's one of the things that I'm so thankful to Tim Lewicki, is he separated the Raptors from the Leafs front office, and he allowed the Raptors to have their own people, Masai Ujiri specifically. And that was really when we started getting things going the right way. Until that happened, until Tim Lewicki happened, we in some ways people say Vince Carter is the reason why we won a championship. That's bullshit. I would say right now the first catalyst is Tim Lewicki, and then Masai Ujiri is the reason why we won a championship. Tim Lewicki had to create the space for Masai to come into and operate the place where he is. Yeah, it's like that. It's like that. Yeah. Smooth saying, if I'm not mistaken, Rob was working with the Timberwolves at the time. I think that's right. That sounds right to me. That we hired him. He was like an assistant GM for the Timberwolves, and we got him on Toronto as our main GM. But once again, hockey people made this decision. Just so y'all know. Mike saying, Nako, I'm sure the team has heard this complete crap in the film room. He seems like a guy that can turn it up. Well, we've seen how energized he gets when we give the chain out and he runs in and he yells and he's like, ah! He's so funny. I love that, man. I love that so much. The intensity of our head coach, Darko Rajakovic, is badass. It's energizing. It's giving energy to our guys and them feeling like, wow, he does that. He's cool, man. Trevor's saying, Lex, I never give points for a Friday freakout, but this one deserves 10 points. I love it. All right, there you go, Trevor. You like it. You like the Friday freakout today that you're going to give old Lex a 10-point dunk on the alley-oop. All right, we'll do that. We'll do that. I'll take this. My blood pressure went up a little bit on that one, so I might as well take the spoils of doing it. 193 for old Lex on the dunk chart right now. Yeah. All right, Trevor's saying classic card and Instagram stories. All right, there's my cue from one of my producers, the Commissioner of Fun, Trevor J, is always a steady in the stream with presence for the show, and I appreciate that from him. Okay, this is a fun one. Is that who I think that is? Oh, wow, that isn't. This is a little bit of a red herring. Okay, yeah, that's who that is. All right, Jimmy's queue is at 10:03, so 3 after this. All right, full name, guys. Don't half-ass me. Can you tell who that is from here? I know who y'all are going to say it is, but you're wrong. It's kind of interesting. I thought I knew who this was immediately when I saw the card, but I wasn't right. So first name and last name, please. You get the points. Do not half-ass it and write half the points. Is it too far away? You guys want it closer? Juancho Hernan Gomez. That's interesting. That's not who I thought first. The answer that Mike put in, I thought it was too, but that's wrong also. It's not Chet Holmgren, who just recently shattered his pelvis. Yeah, it's not Nacho. It's not Juancho Hernan Gomez. No, it's not. This is a weird one. All right, we'll bring it up close and see if you guys can figure it out up close. Once again, it's a yellowish tint, so it kind of makes it hard to see the player completely. Let's see. Yeah, it's not Chet, man. I thought it was Chet immediately when I opened it. I was like, oh, it was Chet Holmgren. And then I looked at it again. I was like, wait, that's not Chet Holmgren. In some ways, it could be Chet. It's Thunder. It's a guy with a beard. Zach Edey? Well, Zach Edey plays for Memphis. Why would he play for Thunder? No, it's not Zach Edey. It's interesting because this guy, we've seen this guy playing on another team this year already, but he's not on the Thunder anymore, this guy. Oh, yeah, I remember what team this guy's on now. Yeah, I know where he is right now. His team is undefeated, I believe, right now, the team that this guy's on at this point. And actually, he played pretty good for them in the game that we played against them. So, yeah, that is a little bit of a clue right there. We've played his team that he's currently on already, and he came off the bench, and he did pretty good for them. And they're undefeated. I just gave a big clue away there as far as which team it is. All right, who is this, guys? Come on now. Let's see. I got official word yesterday in reference to the chair. All right, I'm going to read that in a sec, Mo. In some ways, I want to do that justice. Prince's friend, Morris Day. You know Morris Day and the time. They used to do music back in the day. Let's see. He would yell out to one of his bandmates. He'd say, now, this name. And this is the last name of this player. So think about Morris Day and the time. And when he's saying, sing, oh, I want to show ya. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Girl, I want to show you. You know that song? Who would he yell out to in his band? He'd say this. There you go. Fiercey got it. It's Ty Jerome. Now, Jerome. That's what Morris Day would say. Is Ty Jerome is the right answer. Of course, I believe Ty Jerome is on the Cleveland Cavaliers now as a backup on their team. That's right. So Fiercey got in first. Carlo, you're right behind. Yeah, and she knew it from the Morris Day clues. So you go, now Jerome, she said Jerome is who Morris Day used to yell out to. So it's Ty Jerome. You like that? That was my clue that I used Morris Day and the Time as my clue. That's the old head clue right there. All right, let's see. We got to put the classic card. Fiercely saw Sarah getting Ty Jerome today. I love to see the variety of different Raptor freaks getting the classic card all the time. There we go. Fiercey, you're in there. And you know what? This is a tough one. I'm going to give you a 200 for this one. That's a 200 card right there. Yeah, because it was there was a Chet Holmgren red herring there. Definitely a Chet Holmgren red herring. Very much looked like Chet Holmgren for sure, but it was not Chet Holmgren. Let's see. All right, and you said the Instagram stories too, so we'll go ahead and do that right now too. Jamal McGlure is showing off the Dwayne Wade statue, and then he's showing off the Raptor statue. And I'll tell you, the Raptor statue looks so much better because it's not a human being that's been deformed by the sculptor, like what they did to poor Dwayne Wade with that statue they unveiled recently. Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe we don't do human statues. I mean, those leaf statues look kind of freaky down there at Maple Leaf Row, also in Jurassic Park. You go look at them a little closely. Go look at them a little bit. They're like, oh, look at these freaky faces on these leaf statues that are going on down there. Yeah, go to the Art Gallery of Ontario and check out the Raptor statue that's on display there. It's pretty cool looking. Very, very cool. OG Anunoby replaying the clip of him jumping into the stands almost on Anne Hathaway. And Anne Hathaway had a reply about it afterwards, and OJ loves it. She's saying that it was on my bucket list to get almost crashed into at a basketball game. So she's very happy the encounter with OG, the near miss of running into Anne Hathaway. It's always, I love this kind of stuff. I mean, I know OG's on the Knicks now, but we know OG so well. And the fact that he like almost ran over the Princess Diaries is hilarious to me, guys. It's just hilarious to me. And she's like enthralled with it. She's kind of like, oh, I almost got ran into by OG Anunoby. Oh my gosh. It's so fun, man. It's so fun. They got a clip of RJ Barrett checking out the new statue, and they've got Vince wearing the new jersey in the clip. They superimposed it over him when he's saying it's over. Yeah, this jersey is fire. The Vince Dunk logo. Of course, we were mad because it looked off center. Of course, it's because the number is where it is. Of course, that's why. And Scotty's wearing it too. Slim Duck has got some guy. We in every serious situation can't be serious. When me in every serious situation can't be serious. There you go. Chris is just not taking life too seriously. And in some ways, if you're trying to make things too serious around him, you're gonna fail. It's just not gonna happen. I'm sorry. It's just not gonna happen. It's over. Yeah, that's what we're saying today because the Vince Carter jersey logo is coming out tonight. Scotty is we got his shirt off and he's playing, and the Cardi's on the floor laying there. And I don't know, Scotty's eye looks a little bit better in this clip that's on his Instagram from 15 hours ago last night. I guess he was on in the evening last night, probably playing 2K or something like that. Who knows? Raptors 905 are saying 8 days till their home opener. This is crazy. The season started a week ago, and the Raptors do not get to play a game on their home court for the first 3 weeks of the season in 905. That's absolutely crazy. They got to go play Capital City Go-Go on Sunday and Tuesday, and then they'll come back and play their first home game on the Saturday, a week from tomorrow. Oh, my gosh. And it'll be against Long Island Nets. So, man, what a crazy road trip to start this tip-off tournament. In some ways, once again, this is shadowing and mirror imaging the NBA regular schedule for the main team and just how unfair the bullshit is. 905 have to start the season with 5 road games and run around before they can even get established in their own home court. It's crazy, man. They really are trying to stack the odds against our franchise in different places. They are celebrating Kennedy Chandler's dunk. And yeah, they have a poll right now. Favorite highlight through the first 3 games of 905. Is it the Quincy Guerriere dunk? Is it the DJ Carton finish? Or is it the key game winner, Tyreek Key, winning the game, the first game of the season? I think that's the one that's winning. That's the one I voted for. That's the one that matters because that actually won the game for us. That's what I'm saying. Norman Powell has got understand the grind gear out there. So if you want it, pick it up. Pascal Siakam down in Orlando as the Pacers are playing the Magic. And he's got all kinds of stuff going on his Instagram. Way too many stories. Siakam, you're like just flooding the IG with stories. Too much, man. It's way too much. You're such an auteur. You have a lot of a prolific picture taker. And I get it. I get it, man. You just got to take pictures, more and more pictures. There's your Instagram stories. Go to the Art Gallery of Ontario. Oh, that's right. That's what it's telling me. Jimmy Pope's saying nothing. Jake Paul going to sleep. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens tonight. In some ways, this is an interesting story. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Yeah, it's the night has come. It's finally going to happen tonight. Carlos saying game day alert, third win alert. There you go. I like that attitude. We got to do something. We got to win again at some point, right? G saying I never liked Aaron Rose. He's a gossip queen. That's why I say he's like a tiger beat. Like he's doing the journalistic moves of like somebody who was covering Scott Baio and Willie Ames in 1984. That's the kind of journalist you are, Aaron Rose. You're like a tiger beat. You're a teeny bopper coverage of our channel, of coverage of our team. And in some ways, it's annoying. It's very, very annoying because you're not to be taken seriously, honestly, with your dumbass TikToks and your stupid shit that you do. Yeah. Andrew saying, yeah, does anyone know when Kelly is supposed to come back? Yeah, well, they said weeks and there was no timetable, but he was at practice yesterday. And maybe in some ways the Raptors are like, yeah, these guys have been injured, but we really need you guys back as soon as possible because the record is getting really bad. So maybe they'll start adding guys and we'll start gaining more momentum towards getting more regular wins as more of these guys return and they stay returned. They can't be returning like IQ and then going back on the list. None of that. We don't want that. Yeah. Monique saying back in the arena for the next 3 Raptors home games. There you go. They're back on from being on the road, and Monique is going to be at the games for the games. She'll be there tonight to help cheer on the Raptors in an in-season tournament game, NBA Cup against the Pistons. We'll have our fancy new floor out there. It's going to be a really cool look as far as things. I like the one from last year still the best. Our first in-season tournament court was the swaggiest, most elegant kind of court I'd ever seen. And well, this year's is not bad. It's not one that I don't hate, but it's different. It's got purple on it. And we'll just have to see how the look is tonight. We'll have to see what the Pistons are wearing for their jerseys and see how the whole look of the game looks on our court. I thought the look of the Milwaukee court the other night was bad. I didn't like the way it looked. I felt like the site, the way that the court, sometimes these courts, even though they're so interesting, these in-season tournament courts, they're actually not very good for the players because the hash marks and the lines and stuff are not totally defined in some of the areas. And also, the dimensions could be off because of like the color scheme and being so bright. And in some ways, some of these courts may be obnoxiously bright for some of the other teams, using like a lime green that's really bright or something like that. I wonder how much that impacts things with playing on the playing surface. I wonder about that. I know on TV, it's sometimes hard to watch because it's so freaking bright. So freaking bright. It's crazy. Monique, thank you for being a super fan and going to our games. Mike saying the Bosch era is no one wants to come to Toronto era. He's the poster child for that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying right there. That's why I'm saying why we want to put the emphasis on him when we can put the emphasis on guys that did want to be here. People like Jamario Moon and Jorge Garboza, and a 15 that I celebrate more than Vince Carter in some ways. That's right. Blackhawk saying can't call Tyson a legend anymore. It triggers him. Almost thought he was going to eat that little girl. Lesson to the world. Leave Mike Tyson interviews to the adults. Wow. Okay. I didn't see that clip. Of course, we know here in Toronto about Mike Tyson in interviews from Nigel Downer, or not Nigel Downer, Nigel, his something else. His name's something Downer, I think. He was an interviewer on breakfast television on CP24, and he had Mike Tyson on there, and he brought up his rape allegations, and Mike got really mad in the interviews. Like, you're not supposed to talk about this shit, and he started cussing at him, and it was live TV. So if you were watching CP24 that day when Mike Tyson made his appearance, Nathan Downer, that's what his name was. As my good friend Nigel is an actor and director in this, but no, we're talking about Nathan Downer. He was the one who was interviewing him, and boy, did things get scary for a second on live TV in Toronto that day when Mike Tyson was about to knock his clock out. You can find it online. The clip is online if you want to watch it. Just look up Nathan Downer and Mike Tyson on City TV. You'll find it, and it's really interesting. It's really interesting. Most saying still no words from Courtney Charles yet, Lex, about, well, on December the 8th, guys, Raptor Freak, we're meet and greet. We're going to go to the 9:05 game against Westchester Knicks, December the 8th, 2 p.m. start at Paramount 5 Food Center. So if you can make it to the game, I'm going to be going there in person, and we can all hang out and watch the game together in the crowd. So yeah, we're hoping we'll hear from Courtney Charles so he can make accommodations for Monique to be able to come to one of the games with us also, hopefully. Yeah, we'll have to see. Blackhawk saying at G, feed those reporters to Tyson. Yeah. The dude's not totally serious, man. I mean, he's done psychedelics at this point. And in some ways, some of the edge that he used to have may not be totally there, although he may be able to get into it. You just start thinking about the things like what his old trainers used to teach him. What was it, Lou Duva, different people from way back in the day, and how they treated him. And, he's got to get in that mode. In some ways, he's softened up and been a more nicer guy because he's had enlightenment and he's gone through a dark journey with his mental health in different places, but he's at a really good place at this point. I hope he can still tap into those places he used to go to when he was younger that were dark and vicious. I hope he can tonight, at least. Yeah, that's what I'll say to that. That's right. Yeah, G saying, haha, we'll tell the reporters to call him a legend. He is a legend. Of course, he's a legend. I seen a picture yesterday online of Mike Tyson with Meta World Peace and Dennis Rodman. And it was like the caption was, "There's a whole lot of crazy in this picture." It's like, yeah, these guys may be the three most notorious athletes in sports in the last half century, as far as just notoriety for being buck shit crazy. Mike Tyson, Ron Artest, and my favorite of all time, Dennis Rodman. That's right, my favorite all time. That's right. Blackhawk saying at Carlo, very athletes transition to another career. Tyson has done one-man shows and movies. He has a cannabis business as well. He shouldn't do the fight, but like Foreman, he can. I have more faith in Mike Tyson at his age being able to do this than most average human beings. In some ways, we got to think about this. Mike is very, very wealthy. And if there's things that LeBron has done for his body to keep it intact to be at this point in the NBA career that he's had right now, there's probably stuff that's at Mike Tyson's disposal to get him in the right place, And especially, like I said, he's had the preparation and the foresight for this fight for most of this year. And he is a trained fighter. He knows the drill. He knows what he needs to do to get prepared for tonight. And that may be the difference between him and Jake Paul, is that Mike knows what you need to do to get ready for a big fight. I don't care what he is, man. This dude, in some ways, it could be dangerous, sure, but Mike knows how to protect himself. And I'll bet you he's still got a pretty nasty punch, better than the average person that is very young. Let's just put it that way. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this goes down. Yeah, and Mike has totally mellowed out. He is a cannabis user. Totally mellowed out. That's right. Trevor's saying, I guess NBA highlights like Bruno's dunk on Giannis, they keep showing it over and over. Yeah, in some ways they're trolling Giannis. In some ways it is one of the better dunks on Giannis ever in the history of his career. Yeah, I like that Bruno's getting shine for this. The Raptors themselves overposted it on their social media too a lot. So yeah, they keep showing it. Well, hey, maybe in some ways they're mad at Giannis because Giannis is screwing around with the Milwaukee Bucks team and all this stuff. NBA may be trolling Giannis at some points sometimes too. We got to remember that. Yeah, Blackhawks laughing about it, laughing at G. Blackhawks saying, believe me when I say the team is pumped up from the VC celebrations. Watch how much Battle was taking it in and see how he is pushing for power dunks now. VC motivate them, but they need to practice. Yeah, I don't need Vince Carter to influence Jamison Battle to try and do Air Canada stuff in the game. Just lay it up, Jamison. We don't need you to go up and try and throw it down one-handed. I'm sorry. Even if you can do it, you're a new green player. Wait a couple of years or at least a year to do this because you need to just show that you can make the shots and keep a foothold in the league right now. And making poor decisions like trying to rise up and throw it down one-handed and breaking it off the back, no, that's not the way to do it. That's not the way to do it. So that's not the kind of encouragement I want. But you're right. There is a certain level of pumped up and inspired by people like Kelly Olynyk and RJ Barrett and different people around the team because of the Vince activities around. For sure. Once again, Scotty gets to see how the Raptors are a first-class organization and how we take care of people with legacy in different ways. He saw when, Danny Green got his ring so many years after our championship because it was delayed for the pandemic reasons. He's seen how we greeted Kyle Lowry when he returned as a Miami Heat player and we welcomed him back and showered him with love. He's seen how we treated DeMar DeRozan at times, and now he's seen how we treated Vince. So be like the good side of things, Scotty, so that we don't have any kind of weird, icky period like we did with Vince Carter. With you is what I would say. The lessons are all in front of you. The story's before you. And you don't want to make the same mistake that Vince did. Trust me. In some ways, You just got to handle it professionally, is what I'm saying. Is and respectfully is what I would say. Yeah. Let's see. Neil's saying also, what has Bosch done to impact basketball on the Raptors? Exit doesn't matter. Bosch body of work is not significant because he left early. The impact is small. No jersey retirement. At the time when he left, he was the leader on all of our charts. He was the leading scorer Raptor in history. He had the most games played, I believe. He had the most field goals, and DeMar came and took all those records from him, basically. And now DeMar is the guy at the top of all those lists. So at that point, yeah, when he left, he was like the franchise leader in a whole bunch of stuff. But thank God DeMar and Kyle played longer, and they ended up collecting a lot of those franchise leaders from him. And yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying here, Neil. He does not deserve a jersey retirement, if not just on the prospect that Scotty should be number 4 jersey retired. That's what I'll say. Seymour saying, "Oh, my Bosch should not get his jersey retired by us." My opinion. See, I think we're all on the same page here, but there are casual Raptors fans that are just going to say, "Oh, Bosch this, Bosch that," and some of the media may even say Bosch deserves it because they were around for that time. But that's a failure time with our team, and in some ways, it's not totally Chris's fault. But also at the same time, he wasn't loyal in the ways that, in some ways that, once again, this should matter. Most franchises keep this in mind when they jersey retire and do stuff. But because we're a younger franchise and we don't have a whole lot of history, and Vince is such a centerpiece history, he's the exception, not the rule. We should not be bending over backwards to honor people like Chris Bosh and Goran Dragic. Why? 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 That's what I say right there. Yeah, why? Monique saying, so everything went through. It will be built in reference to the chair. It will be a while before it gets finished. I'll get sometime in the new year. That's awesome. I'm so happy to see that everybody came out in full effect to support you, Monique. The Raptor Freak family, thank you. People like Neil and Adriana, you guys giving some money to Monique and helping her with her GoFundMe has been huge. And of course, MLSC coming in and helping out and topping it off. Fantastic work by the team that I love, showing love towards one of the people that loves them the most too. And that's the super fan, Monique Lawrence. It's all just a great story all around, a story of success and a story of heartwarming story. And I love that. I love that. Mike saying VC wanted them to hire someone else as GM, Ewing or something. It was Dr. J. He wanted them to hire Dr. J as the GM of the Raptors. And that could have worked. Honestly, I would have liked that at that time. That would have been a smarter move. But once again, we have to understand, Mike, at that time, I think Vince sanity scared the hell out of hockey people. They saw just how popular Vince was getting and how things, and in some ways, maybe they sabotaged that shit on purpose to try and hurt basketball's growth in Canada because hockey people saw what was developing with Vince sanity. So they, if they had hired Dr. J to be our GM at that time, which Vince wanted, and would have been the right move, honestly, I would have been totally cool with that because Dr. J did work as a GM for the Orlando Magic down there, and he did a pretty good job. That would have been so much better. In fact, it would have brought more interest to basketball again. It would have been a whole other story of Vince playing for his mentor and idol, Dr. J. And it would have changed completely the history of the Raptors franchise. And it's, in certain ways, it would have been positive going forward. And maybe Vince wouldn't have never left. Maybe he would have got a championship with us. Maybe, the bullshit with what happened with his exit would have been avoided because of hiring him instead. So in some ways, we can blame hockey people for part of the problems with Vince Carter going out the way he did because they were in charge of our team and making management decisions like Rob Babcock and Kevin O'Neill and stuff like that. So, yeah, that would have been a nice alternate universe we could have jumped into if Dr. J had been our GM at one point. That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome for sure. Let's see. And I think Dr. J would have done it, seriously. Most saying I got official word yesterday on the chair. $23,500. $23,000 is how much that chair is. Crap. Or is it $2,350? I don't know. Either way, that chair is going to be awesome and it'd be a game changer for you. That's so great. That makes me so happy. Oh, yeah. Oh. Come on, I want to show you. Yeah, Jerome Benton with the mirror. That's what his name was, Jerome Benton. Now, Jerome. And he come out and he spruce himself up and then he keeps singing. I want to tell you. Oh. That's right, man. Moore's Day in the time going off on the channel this morning. That's right. That's right. Carlos Santa just ordered that City Edition Dick jersey for my birthday. There you go. There you go. Go on then, Carlo, and get that. Yeah, Catwoman. Catwoman. Wow. OG. Wow. 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 I mean, OG, maybe you could date her. I don't know if she's single or not. She seems like she's interested, OG. Maybe OG, you should be dating Anne Hathaway. Seriously, she's like almost got crashed into by OG. 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 Who knows? Anne Hathaway. Come on, OG. She may wear sundresses and go for walks near the lake. Come on, man. She'd probably be into that. She'd be like, what are you into, OG? I would like to date you. I like reading books. What books have you read recently? I can't remember, but I like to take walks down by the lake too. Okay, I like doing that too. Maybe I'll come down there. I just bought a new sundress. That's great. There you go. Little OG Catwoman stuff going on there. That's right. Stargate saying OG almost fell over Anne Hathaway. Wow. Yeah, the clip's hilarious. Of course, it's New York. They got big wigs on the sidelines all over the place there. And Anne Hathaway was sitting on the court. He knocked her popcorn over and spilled it all into her lap and her child's lap. Oh, it's so fun. I get a big 6'7" strong black man gonna fall all over me and sweat all over me. Oh, people were like wanting to get ran over by Shaq at times. It's so funny and crazy. Like Shaq will hurt somebody. He could maim someone going out of bounds, flying out of bounds. People get out of the way when Shaq was coming that way. Yeah. But some people are like that. They're like, oh, I want to sit courtside so I can get ran over by an NBA player. Oh, it's so funny. There's that Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where Larry David has his legs out and he trips Shaq when he's coming into the game. That's so funny too. That's so funny. That kind of shit's hilarious to me. It is. Smooth saying, it's being reported that the Blue Jays are giving Juan Soto a blank check. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, some people were joking. This Taylor Swift concert may generate enough revenue that the Taylor Swift stuff is going to actually pay for the Juan Soto contract. That's funny. Smooth saying it's happening again, and I'm falling for it. Shame on me. Yeah, let's not even worry about this. I would say like anything. This is just like fan fiction, speculation, trade speculation that we go through in Raptors world. Let's just do the same thing until it happens, until the pen to paper and the signature is there and it's official. Let's not even think about it. Let's just let it miraculously happen. Don't get built up. Don't start feeling like, oh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen just to have the rug pulled out from underneath you. No, let's just wait and we'll see. And when the pen to paper and it's for real and it's official, then we'll react to it. How about that? That's how I say about it. That's why I'm not going to get into no Kevin Durant sweepstakes a couple summers ago. That's why I'm not interested in this Lillard bullshit that's going on last summer. I'm not interested in any of that kind of crap. No, I'm not. I'm not falling for it. Monique saying, W streams, W vibes, go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. We're going to keep cheering regardless of the situation. Raptor Freak family crew, strong forever. That's right. And we're getting tested for this. The real ones are the ones who are sticking with their 2-10 team and still watching the games and still rooting for these Raptors and wishing the best for them. And I love it. I mean, my numbers are down. Yeah, the Raptors are losing. I don't get as many numbers on my YouTube channel, but I don't care about numbers. I just care about the real ones. And the real ones are here still, sticking through the time that they're going through right now. We're with you, Raptors. We believe in y'all. And we love you guys. And we want y'all to achieve and get better and better. And I know you will. I know you will. I'm trusting you guys. Stargate saying Mike Tyson does serious psychedelics now. He does the Toad. And if anyone knows about the Toad, it's a serious trip. Yeah, this dude's serious, man. Like in some ways, Mike, I'm telling you, Mike is an enlightened person. Mike has defeated his enemies and his demons inside his head. And in some ways, he's very similar to DeMar DeRozan on this. In fact, you know what, DeMar? You should do an episode with Mike Tyson. Dinners with DeMar with Mike Tyson would be off the chain because honestly, he's a really outspoken and honest person. And you may be shocked at what Mike Tyson would say about his battles with mental health. If you could get that episode, DeMar DeRozan, I think it would be one of the most worthwhile episodes you could do because in some ways it could paint a whole new light on Mike Tyson that people don't understand about him, that he is a very, very cuddly, understanding person. Sure, he has rape charges and he has an ugly history, but there's a certain amount of change that people can go through in their lives and redemption. And in some ways, people may find out that Mike Tyson's a completely, totally different person than he was in his earlier life. And that's the cool thing about it. That's the thing I'm saying right there. That's what I'm talking about. So he's saying, Lex, watch Penguin. It's a fantastic show. Sets up the Batman too perfectly. All right. Yeah. Penguin starts Colin Farrell. And Jack Armstrong still can't believe it's Colin Farrell. It's like, that doesn't even look like Colin Farrell every time they do the ad. I don't watch any current television. In some ways, I'm out of the loop on new stuff, so I probably won't watch it. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe it'll come across in my life at some point. Who knows? DC really made up for that Joker crap with this show. Okay, that's interesting. And Stargate saying Anne Hathaway is married. Okay, she is married. Yeah, I figured she probably was married. But who knows? Who knows? You know those Hollywood types. Maybe she's thirsty in some ways. Maybe they have an arrangement. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Mike saying OG, oh my, laugh out loud. OG and Ann. Yeah, that's pretty cool. 20. Okay. Dollars is how much your chair costs. Holy crap, Monique. That's a very expensive chair. I hope it's very durable and awesome for many, many years for you because that is a real upgrade. Holy crap. That's so good. You deserve it. You really, really deserve it, Monique. You really deserve it. Wow. That's right, Mike. And Ken A saying, I still watch the games. They play better basketball than the Bosch led team with the same record. You know, that's true. That's absolutely true. The record does not reflect this team. Other opponents are saying it, and we know it for ourselves too, that this era of the NBA is very competitive. And in some ways, yeah, those Bosch teams were ugly to watch and horrible at times, just not entertaining. At least, even if we're losing right now, Darko's system and the players that we've got on our team are fun to watch. And that's so true. Thank you, original Raptor Free Kenny, for bringing in and chiming in. All right, we're right at 2 hours. Good job, Monique, holding us down to keep to the schedule. Let me go through my tabs real quick, and we'll get out of here right on time. The injuries for tonight, of course, for the Raptors are the same. DJ Carton is day-to-day. Jacoby Walter, Emmanuel Quickly, Scotty Barnes, Bruce Brown, and Kelly Olynyk are all out. But that is the gist of it. Our starters will be Davion Mitchell, Grady Dick, Oshai Abaji, RJ Barrett, and Jakob Poeltl. Detroit does have injuries also. Jaden Ivey is questionable for tonight. Tim Hardaway Jr. is doubtful. Simone Fontecchio is doubtful. Osur Thompson is still out. And Bobby Clintman is out also. The projected lineup for the Pistons tonight is Cade Cunningham, Malik Beasley, maybe Ronald Holland II, Tobias Harris, and Jalen Duren. The referees for tonight, Scott Foster, the infamous Scott Foster, is reffing tonight with Jason Goebel and rookie Tyler Ricks. Tyler Ricks is 0-2 with both teams as far as he's only reffed 2 games for the Raptors and the Pistons. Both times, both the Pistons and the Raptors lost those games. Jason Goebel favors the Raptors, and Scott Foster favors the Detroit Pistons. Real quick, we got a birthday today, but I don't even know if I want to say it today. It's the 25th birthday of a guy who should be rotting in a jail soon for his huge discrepancy last season with the Raptors. You know who I'm talking about. Mr. Redacted, Mr. Parlay, fucking 25 years old today, that piece of shit. You should be going to jail. Yeah, see, I'm going to tell that. I don't even want to say his name. It is his birthday today, that piece of crap. If you guys have a Yahoo Fantasy team on our league, go ahead and set it up and get it ready. There are games to be played tonight. All right. And once again, Kensington Variety VIP Club, new episodes. Well, not really new, 5-year-old episodes coming out most days this week. So go and check them out. Today, I'm singing songs for the customers. They tell me their favorite artists, and I try and do a rendition of those artists. And Bobby comes in, young Bobby, and he tells me an artist I don't know who they are, and I just make up what I think they sound like. So if you want to see ass shit in a convenience store in Kensington Market, in downtown Toronto from 5 years ago today, yeah, go check out our videos in the tab on this channel. They're hilarious. They're stupid. And yeah, it's just pure Lex. That's what it is right there. Trevor's saying UFC pay-per-view Saturday, 10 p.m. Jones versus Miocic championship fight. Yeah, well, they have UFC every Saturday night, and I don't really cover it. In some ways, the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, that is something to cover because that's a big spectacle and something that is not very often that we're going to see a legend like Mike Tyson come out there and take the ring at his age once again. So, yeah, I'm not interested in UFC in general overall. But, yeah, I'll be interested in a Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight tonight for sure. All right, let me get out of here. Y'all, thanks for watching me today or a preview. I hope the Raptors can handle the boards like the keys to the victory that were said earlier. We got to handle the boards, limit the turnovers, and make sure that we play with more energy and smarts. You get after it. Hopefully these guys are rested a bit better since they've had 2 days off since the last game. And they've, back home. And hopefully they have some good energy for tonight. and they can't get ahead of themselves. I know we're going to see the Celtics immediately after this game. We're going to Boston to play the champion Celtics tomorrow night, but we need to take care of the food that's on our plate before we go back to the kitchen to get seconds. So Raptors, take care of the food on your plate tonight, and let's awash any kind of Casey's revenge or any lingering Detroit versus Toronto bullshit that's been happening in the last couple of years. You know, Detroit's way better this year than they've been in those years before. So this is a real task we've got to take. All right, Raptorize your day. Get out there, touch grass, and let's go Raptors. Let's get this win and go, Mike. Man, I'm totally rooting for you, Iron Mike. We love you, Iron Mike, and we want to see you win tonight. Do it for the old people, the older generation. Just do it for us, please. Please. And let's go, Raptors. Beat the Pistons. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go, Raptors.